September 28, 2025. 6:34 p.m. Every radar screen across Western Russia suddenly flashed red. At first, it looked like chaos. Drones, missiles, alarms. A storm of light and noise tearing through the evening sky. Operators shouted coordinates. Commanders barked orders. Anti-air systems came alive, filling the clouds with streaks of fire. But as the flashes multiplied, something strange happened. The attacks weren't coming from one direction, they were everywhere. Kursk, Belgorod, Bryansk. Russia's most advanced air defenses were spinning in every direction, chasing ghosts in the sky. And in that confusion, they believed they were winning. Each intercepted drone, each explosion in the distance, it all felt like victory. But what no one realized was that the real battle wasn't happening in the air at all. It was happening above it, silent, invisible, and far more dangerous. Because while Russia's eyes were fixed on the noise of the sky, something far deadlier was already falling from space. And that's when the war changed forever. The first wave came like a thunderstorm made of metal. Hundreds of drones poured across the border, not just from one direction, but from everywhere at once. Kursk, Belgorod, Bryansk. 8 different regions all lit up on radar in the same instant. To Russian commanders, it looked like an invasion from the air itself. Anti-aircraft guns opened fire. Panzer and TOR systems filled the night sky with tracers and missiles, exploding in brilliant flashes that turned darkness into daylight. Each interception was celebrated as another confirmed kill. Control centers erupted in cheers. The airspace seemed secure. But that confidence was part of the plan. Because this swarm wasn't built to destroy. It was built to distract, to flood radar screens, drain ammunition, and pull every eye upward. While Russia fought shadows in the clouds, something far more precise was preparing to strike from above the atmosphere. The real attack hadn't even started yet. And when it did, no one would see it coming. Then, in the middle of the chaos, 6 new signals appeared on radar. They weren't moving sideways like drones. They were falling straight down, fast, silent, unstoppable. In seconds, alarms screamed through the Belgorod command center. Operators froze. Commanders shouted, "Ballistic trajectory. Multiple impacts inbound." These weren't drones at all. They were M31 GMLRS rockets, launched from HIMARS batteries hidden deep inside Ukraine. Each one diving through the atmosphere at over twice the speed of sound. Russia's last line of defense, the S-400 system, came alive. A massive radar sweep, a lock-on, then 6 interceptor missiles tore into the sky at Mach 6. Moments later, 6 brilliant explosions lit the upper atmosphere. "All targets destroyed," the operator declared. Cheers erupted. Applause. To everyone in that bunker, it felt like victory. The most complex attack in history stopped cold. But no one in that room realized that the real trap had just been sprung. Those 6 rockets weren't meant to hit anything. They were meant to make Russia fire first. While Russia celebrated its perfect interception, Ukraine was already smiling in the shadows. Those 6 HIMARS rockets, the ones everyone thought were destroyed, were never meant to land. Their mission was far more valuable. To force the S-400 to reveal itself. When that powerful radar switched on, its signal was instantly recorded. Its exact location, frequency, and electronic fingerprint captured and transmitted. In one move, Ukraine had mapped the most secret air defense system in Western Russia. Each victory the Russians claimed had actually given their enemy a perfect target. And the moment that radar powered down to reload, Ukraine moved to phase 2. Another HIMARS battery, hidden miles away, received the coordinates. At that same time, heavy kamikaze drones, UJ-26 Bobers and Sheila 400s, turned toward the newly exposed S-400 position. The bait had done its job. The hunters now knew exactly where to strike. And this time, Russia wouldn't be the one celebrating. 1846 hours. In a different location, a second HIMARS crew waited in complete silence. Then, the command came through, fire at will. 6 rockets lifted into the sky. The real strike had begun. Back in Belgorod, the S-400 radar was still cooling from its last interception. Blind for just a few seconds, the worst possible moment. Meanwhile, Russian gunners were still busy chasing the drone swarms lighting up their screens. No one noticed the low-flying UJ-26 Bober silently cutting through the night. It skimmed the treetops, closing in fast on the S-400's command vehicle, the brain of Russia's defense network. By the time operators saw it, it was too late. Flash. A shockwave. The radar screen went black. And at that exact second, the new HIMARS salvo crossed the border, supersonic, unstoppable, and untracked. The only system that could stop them was gone. Now, nothing stood between those rockets and their true target. The real target wasn't a base or a convoy. It was the Belgorodskaya TETS, a massive thermal power plant hidden deep inside Russian territory. To most, it looked like civilian infrastructure. But to Ukraine, it was something else entirely, the heart of Russia's regional war machine. That single plant powered command centers, radar networks, railway lines, and ammunition depots feeding the front. It kept the lights on for the 20th Guards Combined Arms Army, the same force fighting in eastern Ukraine. When the second HIMARS wave hit, it didn't just strike steel and concrete. It struck the brainstem of an entire military system. 6 warheads, each precise to within 5 meters, slammed into the main transformer station. For a moment, the night turned into day, then everything went black. Power lines melted. Radars died. Communication screens went dark. In a single minute, Ukraine hadn't just turned off the lights. It had unplugged an army. Within seconds, Belgorod fell silent. No power. No signal. No command. The blackout spread like a shockwave across neighborhoods, bases, and railways that once pulsed with life. Trains froze on the tracks. Fuel convoys stopped mid-route. Inside bunkers, radar screens flickered, then went black. Commanders who once watched the front in real time were suddenly blind. And above ground, panic took hold. Elevators stopped, people were trapped, and traffic lights died. The hum of a city of 500,000 vanished in an instant. Russian media rushed to call it a transformer failure, but satellite data and civilian videos told the truth. The plant was gone. NASA's heat sensors showed a fire visible from orbit. Every attempt to spin the story collapsed under its own smoke. While Russia claimed victory over hundreds of drones, Ukraine had quietly achieved something far greater. Not just chaos, but silence. And that silence was louder than any explosion. The aftermath was more than a blackout. It was a revelation. For decades, Russia believed its defenses were impenetrable, its borders untouchable. But on that night, Ukraine shattered that illusion. The Belgorod strike proved that the front line no longer existed. A rocket fired near Kharkiv could now reach deep into Russia's so-called safe zones. And suddenly, Moscow faced an impossible choice: protect the front or protect itself. To defend cities like Belgorod and Kursk, Russia had to pull its best air defense systems away from the battlefield. Every S-400 or Pantsir battery withdrawn meant new gaps opening along the front, new chances for Ukrainian drones and missiles to slip through. The balance of power didn't just shift, it fractured. For the first time, Russia's war machine had to look inward and wonder how much of its own strength it could sacrifice to stay alive. The era of untouchable defenses was over, and Ukraine had just rewritten the rules of the war. What made this operation truly remarkable wasn't just the explosion. It was the idea behind it. Ukraine didn't rely on brute force. It relied on deception, patience, and precision. 6 rockets were willingly sacrificed, each one a decoy worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, just to make the S-400 blink. And that single blink exposed a billion-dollar system. It was a masterclass in 21st century warfare. Intelligence over intimidation, data over firepower. The operation forced Moscow to fight itself, to waste its missiles, reveal its secrets, and burn through its own defenses. Every move was calculated, every distraction deliberate. In the end, it wasn't just a strike on a power plant. It was a strike on the myth of invincibility. Ukraine showed that the most powerful weapon in modern war isn't speed or strength. It's strategy. And in this symphony of chaos, every drone, every decoy, every spark in the sky played in perfect harmony to rewrite the future of warfare. When the fires of Belgorod finally dimmed, the world saw more than smoke on the horizon. They saw the future of war. A future where power isn't measured in tanks or soldiers, but in data, deception, and precision. Ukraine's strike on September 28th didn't just cripple an energy grid. It sent a message that echoed far beyond the battlefield. That in modern warfare, the smartest mind can defeat the strongest army. The attack proved that no system, no doctrine, no wall of steel is safe from innovation. For Russia, it was a painful awakening. For the rest of the world, it was a warning that the next great battles won't be fought for territory, but for control of the unseen. And as night fell over the darkened city, one truth became impossible to deny. On that day, Ukraine didn't just strike a target. It changed what it means to fight a war. If you made it this far, you just witnessed one of the most brilliant military operations of the modern era. But stories like this, the ones hidden behind the headlines, deserve to be told. So if you want more deep dives into the real strategies shaping today's wars, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and drop a comment with what event you want broken down next. Your support helps us bring you the truth behind the tactics, without filters, without filler. Because in a world full of noise, you deserve the signal. Stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one. Ukraine has launched a powerful precision strike on a major Russian power facility using 270-kilogram warheads, reportedly right after Moscow's celebration of its latest victory. In this video, we break down how the attack unfolded, what targets were hit, and what this means for the ongoing Ukraine-Russia conflict. Stay tuned for verified updates, battlefield analysis, and official statements as new details emerge. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe for real-time updates on the war in Ukraine, frontline changes, and global reactions.